everyone, Tierra here from GypsyFae Creations. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am back today with another collaboration video. I did one on Monday with Renee over at Soaps for Love, and she's kind of curated this other collaboration that I'm a part of today because she's like the queen of collaborations here on YouTube. She has just made so many videos with other soap makers that it's just a lot of fun, and we've done this one before. It was back in March. The requirements were to make a soap that had green in it and beer in it, and there's about 14 of us that were a part of that. It became so popular that there are now 40 of us in this collaboration today. The requirements are supposed to be botanicals, so like some kind of dried flower or some kind of plant, and the color yellow for summer. Originally the collaboration was supposed to be like an annual thing, and now it's become probably 4 times a year, like every season we'll probably do a collaboration, and who knows, it might keep growing from there. I chose to do a lavender and chamomile for this soap, so let's get started. Let's make this yellow summery botanical soap. So before I start this off by mixing in my lye solution and my oils together, I wanted to show you this infusion that I've made. I just took a bottle of olive oil, and in the fall, before everything started dying off, I went out into my garden and I picked some lavender petals and some rosemary, and I stuck them in just a regular old olive oil bottle, and I've left them there for probably a good 6 months, if not more, so that all of those herbs infuse into the oil. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that to my mixture here, and I'm going to use a strainer so that I don't get those leaves in my batter, because they've done their job. There we go. And so this isn't like the full amount of oils that I need, of olive oil that I need in here, so I'm going to go ahead and just get some regular olive oil and add that to this mixture until I get the amount that I need. You could probably say I could predict the future, because I've had that infusion laying around, not really had any plans for it. It's been a while since I did any type of infused oils, and when this project came up, I was like, oh, this is going to be perfect. I found a use for it. You guys know I go extra when it comes to, you give me a theme, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put everything I can possibly think of into this soap. So I just dumped in there some chamomile tea, and what I did is when I poured up my lye and water solution, I left out 5 ounces of it to be made up with the chamomile tea. And that is what I put in there, and I'm telling you guys, everything that I can think of that's chamomile or lavender, I'm putting into the soap. So I'm going to go ahead and pour in my lye solution and give it a whirl, and then we'll keep going with all the other botanicals and fun stuff going into the soap. So now that is all incorporated, I'm going to split this into 3 containers. Into this little bucket I have some Royal Purple, and that is by Soapbox Micas. Into this little guy I'm just going to leave the plain batter and some of my botanical, and into the big bucket I'm going to color this big bucket oh, can you even see that? Sunshine Yellow Mica by Nurtured, because it had the word sunshine in it and it was yellow, and I'm a very practical person sometimes. Too practical, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and split this up. I'll show you the other botanical that I'm working with as well. That's going to add a little bit of color, as well as some design to it. It'll create some little speckles, but I've got some chamomile powder, that's a mouthful, or chamomile. How do you guys say that? Like, I looked it up because I've made soap with it before, and I was curious to, like, am I saying this right? what's the proper way of saying it? And if you go do a search on Google, or if you do a search on YouTube, it's both. Like, I guess it depends on where you're from as to how you say it. And I'm not quite sure which way I like better. I don't know. Chamomile or chamomile. I don't know. You guys tell me, how do you say it? So I've added that to both these two buckets. I'm not adding it to the purple. And then into my big bucket, I'll go ahead and add the Sunshine Yellow in there to brighten it up a little bit. And then I'll give them a little mix. Little mixy. Alright, so I have my molds here. I've mixed in my fragrance by hand. I am scenting this with a lavender and chamomile fragrance from Crafter's Choice. That was my glove that made that noise. It's making fart noises. It is a Bath & Body Works dupe, but to keep with the all-natural feel of this soap, I did add some lavender essential oil and some chamomile essential oil. And so I'm going to plop this in here. I've got my hanger swirl on the side. Almost all of it. It's getting a little thick. Woo, hello Tierra. I'm in my own way. It did rice a little bit, which can happen with, you know, certain fragrances. It's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Plop. It did accelerate a little bit. So not going exactly how I imagined, but I'm going to make it work. And I'm pouring a little bit more of this guy. I'm not going to scrape this out. I am going to leave some of it for the top. And I had a feeling this was going to happen. That's why I have my hanger swirl ready. And so I'm just going to go ahead and scrape in the rest of this, run my hanger swirl through it, and call it a day. Make a mess. Look, this is why I put these molds together, because you guys, I know you're probably like, holy moly Tierra, you make such a mess. I know I do. And I'm fine with that. I still get soap out of it. It's not as probably relaxing as you guys would like, but I'm having fun. I feel like you're not having fun unless you're making a mess, and I've had plenty of people tell me that. Alright, hanger swirl. Lots of swirls in here because that was just a little bit of a clumpy mess. So run that through there a couple times. And then I'll go ahead and pile on the rest of it. I'm going to go get my spoon and then I will texture the top of it. And we'll put some flowers on there. Okay, so I cleaned up my mess, okay? I do clean up my messes. And then I'm just going to run this chopstick through here, kind of break up some of that color. And then I have a spoon and I'm gonna go ahead and texture this top a little bit as best as I can. That really did thicken up on me lots. And so I'm gonna smooth down this side and kind of make little dents in the rest of it. Making funny noises. And then what I have is some lavender flower buds. These are from How to Look Pretty. And then I have this giant bag of chamomile flowers that are from Wholesale Supplies Plus. And I'm going to decorate the top of this soap with them. And then to finish it off, I'll just sprinkle on let's do this first. I am going to spray this with the rubbing alcohol first. And then I'm going to sprinkle on the lavender on this side. And then the chamomile on the other. I'm going to let this sit for 24 hours. And I'll come back tomorrow to cut it. And then I'm not done. I have something else I want to do to the soap. And that is I'm going to pipe on the front of the soap. Not on the top, but on the front. And it'll be a surprise of what it's going to be. Now that I am done making that mess, it's time to cut it and see what it looks like on the inside. And I know it's still going to be pretty, even though, again, I made a mess of that. But let's look at that swirl. It's amazing what a little hanger tool can do to fix anything. And I have it on its side because I'm afraid those flowers might cause drag marks, and I don't want that to go through my soap. And they might fall off, but I did put a lot of them on there so that, you know, some of them will stay on. But I'm really happy with that swirl. You can't really tell the difference too much between the yellow and the chamomile powder that I put in there for colorant, but it's okay. I'm wondering who else is going to be doing either chamomile or lavender, because it seems to be like a very popular botanical that people can use. I think lavender, chamomile, and mint they're pretty high up there. They're probably well known. So I can't wait to see what everyone else does. I think lavender and chamomile smell very, very soothing, and it's just very relaxing. And I remember growing up using that Herbal Essence shampoo that was like chamomile, and like the clear bottle, and it was yellow. And I remember reading on there that chamomile means ground apple, so I thought that was a fun fact. I know it's been around for thousands of years before even ancient Egyptians used it. A lot of people believe in it for its medical properties. I know I like to drink it in tea because it's very yummy, and even when I opened up the bag of chamomile flowers, I thought it smelled really, really good. I'm a little disappointed in this fragrance though. It did fade, so it doesn't have that much of a smell, and that's even with me adding the essential oils into it just to give it a little bit of a boost. I think the chamomile powder, the chamomile tea, and the essential oils and the fragrance also gives it just a little bit of scent, so it's not very strong, but some people might prefer a lighter scent. Now that I have these all cut up, I am going to go make some soap batter, and I'm going to pipe some lavender flowers onto the front of these soaps, and then I'm done. But that is the final touch I want to add to that soap, so I'm happy with those swirls though. Alright, so I'm going to try and pipe this so that you guys can see what I'm doing, but with the camera angles and everything, it's a little difficult. I just have like a small little round tip here, usually good for like writing on cakes. And I also have like a leaf tip over here and a Wilton 101 tip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by making 2 lines. And I'm kind of doing them in opposite directions like that. And then I'll pick up my leaf tip here and pull that out like so. That's good. And then I have a Wilton 101 tip over here that I'm going to make the lavender petals with. And when I was trying to come up with a way to do lavender flowers, I was just having difficulty what the right tip or the right method would be. I was doing lots of research on YouTube to see if there's like cake decorating or cookies that anyone has ever done lavender with. Keely Oversoy and Shay did some, and I thought hers were really cute, but in my head I pictured it another way. And so on Instagram there is an account called Yatt's Little Kitchen, YATTSLIL Kitchen, and I don't know where she's from. I'm taking a guess and saying Malaysia, but she makes some beautiful cakes, and she had posted a couple videos of her doing this, and she kept hashtagging Wilton 101 in it, and everyone kept asking, what tip are you using? And I guess Wilton 101 was a real tip. I just thought it was like, hey, Wilton 101 lesson or class, or, you know, kind of like this is learning how to use Wilton tips, like how to do something for dummies kind of type deal, where it's an instructional. I didn't think Wilton 101 was actually a tip. So I went through my giant toolbox of cake tips, half of them. Again, I don't even know what ones I have in there. It's just kind of a grab bag. I've never used half of them. I've just always used writing tips or like the star tip, stuff like that. I've never used all these other little things that I had. So I pulled it out, and lo and behold, I had a Wilton 101 in there, and I was so happy because I'm like, this is going to be perfect. And I like this look. I didn't even know I had this tip in there. It's just amazing. Got lucky on that one. So, gonna keep just doing all this. It's gonna take me a while, but I just think it's so pretty when you pipe on the front of a soap. I'm again excited to see what everyone else makes. I know I'm going to be binge watching soap videos. I keep moving off to the side of the camera. I know I'm going to be binge watching lots of soap videos. Even Keely from Soapy is going to be in this one. There are a lot of us, and it seems like it's just going to keep growing and continually be a thing. Maybe 4 times a year everyone wants to do a collaboration for like every season, so I will leave everyone's links down below to their channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you know the spiel. Please leave me a big thumbs up. If you are new, feel free to subscribe. I'm always experimenting on this channel. You never know what I'm gonna make or what mess I'm going to get into. Any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section down below. And until next time, I hope you guys have a very nice day, and I'll smell you later.